The board came down here in January for our mid-year board meeting. We had the privilege of going to Morgan's Wonderland, and if you haven't been there, it is everything Gordon just said and more. I mean, it truly is unbelievable, so thank you. Our next speaker is also an inspiration. Jenni Newbury. Jenni is the co-founder of Camp Pals, a week-long sleepaway camp for young adults with Down syndrome. Camp Pals has been recognized by both the NDSS and the NDSC over the past 8 years, and this summer hosted 113 campers and a full staff of 150 volunteers, all under the age of 25. Jenni is a graduate of Princeton University, where she majored in psychology and elementary education. During her time at Princeton, Jenni founded Princeton Disability Awareness, which hosts an annual Down syndrome conference that welcomes 500 families and their children with Down syndrome to campus each fall. She completed her senior thesis on the impact of having a sibling with Down syndrome and continues to support the development of new Princeton Disability Awareness initiatives. Jenni now works as the Education Resource Manager for Special Olympics Project Unified. Above all else, Jenni is a sibling to Jason Newbury, a self-advocate. It is this role that has defined and sculpted her life, and it is Jason's strength that continues to challenge her to do more. Please welcome Jenni Newbury.
So I was told all the cool kids would have a PowerPoint, but apparently that's not the case. So I apologize in advance, but I'm hoping that you will enjoy some of the embarrassing photos that I've included, and it will give you some entertainment as we go through this evening. So when you're going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. After months of eager anticipation, the plane lands, and the stewardess comes in and says, "Welcome to Holland." Holland, you say? But I thought I was going to Italy. All my life, I've dreamt of going to Italy. I think many of you have heard that poem before, and over the past 23 years, I've heard Emily Pearl Kingsley's poem at conferences, trainings, and many other events involving individuals with disabilities. Emily tells us that, although less flashy than Italy, Holland still has beautiful characteristics, and the traveler learns to appreciate them, even while watching others come and go from Italy. A few years ago, the NDSC awarded Jennifer Graf Grunberg with the National Media Award for her book titled A Roadmap Through Holland. The book shared insights and lessons that the author had learned after having a son with Down syndrome. Holland is a common theme in this community, probably because the analogy resonates with so many parents trying to define and describe their experience. But what about growing up in Holland? What about those who were born in Holland, or simply were so young when they arrived that they can't remember anything different? Do they appreciate the eccentricity of Holland without missing the glamour of Italy? Do they stay up late at night wondering what it'd be like in Italy? Or are they simply more comfortable, more at home in Holland? This perspective and these questions can only be understood by siblings, shedding light on the distinct connection between those of us who share a similar history, who find ourselves rooted in the particular place of Holland. I am honored to have the opportunity to share my story with you tonight. A story about me, but really a story that can only be understood when you meet my brother, Jason. I give you my perspective not as a generalization, but as a result of the unique opportunities, experiences, and relationships that Jason and I have shared. I want to talk to you about our lives and the communities we've been a part of, and I want to give you a report as Jason and I stand with a new perspective, looking out over the front lines of Holland. Started my life at the age of 2 years, 2 months, and 24 days. You see, that was the day I got my very first and most important job. I became a sister. Being a sister came with many different roles, yet I soon made it my #1 priority to get this smile as much as possible. A few years later, I took on new responsibilities and became a teacher. Whatever Jason was learning in physical therapy, speech therapy, or anything else I witnessed, I made sure that I repeated in our playroom. When I started first grade, Jason was forced to join me. I brought home worksheets and made my own for him to complete. I turned in report cards to my mom about Jason's behavior during corporate class time. But thinking back over the years of our childhood, Jason and I both had the job of being teachers. No matter how much I had tried to pin him down in my makeshift classroom, Jason had turned our lives into a classroom all his own. There are countless lessons that I learned from Jason over the years, many of which have continued to challenge me as we transition into our adult lives. But a few key themes come to mind when I think about our childhood. The first is trust. From a very young age, Jason showed me what it was like to trust someone. Jason trusted me with his heart, his happiness, his life. I'm not sure what I ever did to deserve it, but all I knew is that I didn't want to do anything to lose it. Jason trusted me when I would take him in the pool before he could swim, and Jason trusted me when I took him across the country on our very first trip to the NDSC without our parents. But most of all, Jason and I trusted our relationship. The type of relationship where we knew that we could share our deepest secrets and not be judged, but accepted. To this day, it is Jason's trust that continues to motivate me. He trusts me to keep my promises, to fight for the right causes, and to come home to visit or bring him with me as much as possible. And so I do. The second lesson I learned from Jason, is about love. And there are a few elements of this specific lesson. First of all, Jason taught me about loving life. There is no one I have ever met who loves life like Jason. Jason is the friend who will stand up and sing karaoke when everyone else is ready to go home. And Jason is the guy that will sweep you off your feet when you thought you were the only one in the room who heard the music. I imagine it is this love for life that fuels Jason's ability to unconditionally love others. Many of us talk about love, and we demonstrate it often. We love when it is convenient. We love others when they are interesting, when they are beautiful, or they make us laugh. We love others when they are useful to us. We love others when they love us in return. But not Jason. Jason demonstrates great love to his family and those close to him, but he demonstrates even greater love to everyone else. Jason holds no grudge. He forgives without bringing guilt, and he has shown grace when anyone else would fight back or fall apart. It's difficult to grow up in Holland without learning about hardship, and with that, perseverance. This brings me to my third lesson, and at Jason's request, I'm calling this one courage. This was the first theme that came up in our conversation when I spoke to Jason about this keynote address. He talked about the summer that I spent teaching him how to ride a bike. It wasn't just perseverance that made him continue to get back on, but knowing he was likely to fall again, it took great courage. The more I thought about it, the more I agreed. It took great courage for Jason to take the bus every day to school, even though he was teased and bullied. It took great courage for Jason to yell at the people behind us when I stalled the car on a hill the very first day I got my driver's license. And it took great courage for Jason to return to high school after realizing that walking with his class at graduation did not mean that he would receive a diploma like all of his peers. You see, perseverance is important when you're working towards a goal, but when you spend enough time facing disappointments, courage is what will keep you going.